I'm not in drugs and I'm not gonna lie.
Scene 39, take 1.
My name is Sandi Cruze. I was born in Lubbock, Texas, but I came out here when I was 7, so I feel sort of native. I was a single mom, so I became a revolutionary in the 70s because there was no child care, there was no birth control, there was no right to abortion, there was nothing. I was fired when I was pregnant because I was showing, and it was like pretty fucked up. So it forced me into being a big old feminist really fast. About 1980, I was looking for a new community. And I used to come to Al's Bar to hear underground music. So I thought maybe they need a bartender. And they did. And I walked in and saw this guy with a handlebar mustache. And I said, "Are you looking for some help? I need a job." And I got hired. So he told me to show up to the American Hotel the next day. Coming from a political organization that was sort of proper with proletarian morality, it was like going from a Catholic church to, yeah, baby. It was perfect. You know, Al's Bar was like our living room. Mark Kreisel liked women bartenders, mainly. And we were badass, you know. If anybody fucked with us, we kicked them out. And there were some pretty crazy-ass people that came in. The locals would come in during the week. And then on the weekends, when there was music, they'd split because you had to pay. It was really a community where we felt safe, where we created. Some of it was bullshit, drug talk, booze talk, whatever, but a lot of really great things happened. I used to call Gary Worrell, Dennis Goddard, and Wayne Hauser the Three Musketeers. And they all wore Levi's white t-shirts and leather jackets. And they'd wear the leather jackets even if it was 110 fucking degrees outside, because goddamn it, we're bad. And they were, I loved them. They would do stuff to entertain me when I was bored at the bar. They'd close the back doors and they'd act like they were fighting, and I'd get freaked out going, "Oh my God," and they'd come out laughing and they weren't bloody. The first night I worked at Al's Bar, I knew no one here at all. It's still daylight. I think I just opened the door. And Wayne Hauser comes in, and he's a good-looking dude, you know. Sits down, and he orders a beer. I give him a beer. He's sitting for a while, smoking. We're not talking. He gets up, goes to the jukebox. He rips the whole electrical cord out of the back of the jukebox. And we're the only two in the bar, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I'm going to get fired the first day I'm here because he just broke the jukebox. All right, well, whatever. And I don't say anything. He doesn't say anything. He orders another beer, drinks it, then he leaves. And I thought, well, I guess I'm going to have to tell Kreisel he's got to come in and fix the jukebox because we're not going to have any music tonight. Then Hauser walks in. He's got an electrical belt on. He reattaches the electrical cord, sits down, orders another beer, and goes, "I just couldn't stand that fucking song one more second." And I went, oh, I'm going to like working here. I like my own gender. I really like women. I hate it when we make bad names for our own group of girls. Joni lived in the room where the nail stuck through the wall. Joni and I were in a reggae band that Jesse Easter started, which was a 14-piece all-white reggae band, and it was great. I met Miriam at the bar. Miriam comes in, she's good looking, she's got on a little mini skirt and cowboy boots, and she's playing pool, she's bending over, shooting beavers. She'd come over, buy a beer, slap a quarter down, come back, buy another. Love Miriam. She became a bartender too. Miriam was Spread'em Feldman, and I was Never Say No Cruze. A lot of great women, Colleen Starrett, great artist. Linda Burnham, I loved her. She would do like your horoscope readings, and she also did high performance. I loved Lizzie from the minute I met her. And she's got these big eyelids that you could paint murals on. And she talks like this, but when she sings, it's just like this beautiful deep voice. I want some red roses for a blue lady. And she wrote Loft Maiden, and Joel Bloom helped do it, and we had this big theater where it was like a drive-in right next to Al's Bar. I remember feeling like I'm not worthy, I'm not capable. I felt like I was in the middle of something historic, like the expats in France or something, and I didn't know how to document it or record it. One of the things about bartending was there were some nights I would go to work and feel like this is just nothing but debauchery and bullshit and I fucking hate it and everybody's full of shit. And then other nights I would feel like I'm the luckiest person in the world because this is wild. It's just your perception. One night it was raining and Linda Brennan was in, and rain would either bring everybody out of their rooms or it would be a kind of a lonely situation. It was either one or the other. And it was real quiet. So I just started singing, and I was singing The Rose, and Linda goes, "Oh my God, that's so good." I always like to think that was the beginning of No Talent Night. I would sing sometimes and Cruze would go, "Sing the old commie song, Sandy." And I would.
Once again, Dick Clark back live here in Times Square, New York City on the 12th annual New Year's Rockin' Eve on ABC, and what a happy crowd we've got.
One of the fun things was New Year's Eve. It was packed, and it was the place you wanted to be on New Year's Eve because all of your friends showed up and you could just hang out and talk and what's going on and what are we going to do the next year? Are we going to be in a band? Are we going to have theater? What's your art? What gallery? La, 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 la. It was fabulous. But I had gone to the bathroom. I think I was probably doing a line and missed New Year's. And so I came back. I was really upset. So I made Cruze set the clock back to midnight again so we could do New Year's again. And everyone liked it so much we did it like 5 more times. It was fucking great. We were crazy. It was 80s. It was pre-AIDS, baby. Drugs, sex, and rock and roll. It was good. What I loved about Mark Cruze was that he was really open to everything, and I hadn't really experienced that with creativity. I realized, I couldn't be a bartender at Al's Bar for the rest of my life. I had a daughter and I needed to raise her, so I went back to school. But when people find out you cut hair, they want you to cut their hair. So I was cutting hair in front of the bar while I was supposed to be behind the bar serving alcohol. I was being paid to work being a bartender. And Cruze walked in and I went, oh God, now I'm gonna get fired. I'm cutting hair. At the end of my shift, he comes up to me and said, Sandy, I know you like your craft. I know it's your creativity. You can't do it on my time. But if you want to cut hair here on a day off when you're not working, feel free. And we started advertising haircuts at Al's Bar. And by the end of my shift, because people tipped me in beer, I would get calls that's going, I got a really big buzz in my hair and it's uneven and can you, blah, blah, blah. So I cut hair for about 2 years for $5 a haircut. So I got really good by being really bad on you guys. Tara Fondelier was really a great artist and she was fearless. She had a really throaty talk and she was just loose, and I really had never met anyone quite like her. She drank a lot, which I love because so did I. So we were drinking buddies, and when we got together, people kind of stayed away from us because we were making plans. Well, the first time I met her, she had on a white blouse with red wine stains over it. Her perfect little beautiful boobies were sticking out. I think she had one of her hostages with her and she was like rubbing all over him. Tara lived in the birdhouse. And I would go over to cut her hair. And one time when I left, I almost got arrested because I was really young and really cute and I had on a little mini skirt. And they almost arrested me for prostitution. It was a big fucking mess. It was crazy down there. But anyway, I didn't quite understand her art, so she was explaining it to me. She'd take big chunks of paint and put it on. It was very abstract when you were close up. And then when you were farther away, I went, oh, that's a dick and a hand. She goes, yeah, that's 5 against 1. I went, oh my God. I bought it for $25 from her. We make jokes about Tara and I spoke Himalayan together because nobody else understood what the hell we were talking about. But we did. Sometimes I can be a misanthrope. Sometimes I can get really disgusted with people. And then the flip side of that is I'm really an idealist and a romanticist. And I think that love is really important. As a bartender or a hairdresser, you have to learn to shut your fucking mouth. Because I'd hear both sides of the story and no one would know I knew both sides of the story. So when somebody came and poured their heart out on one side, the other person would come and I could give them advice. And they had no idea. They thought I was this great sage, I was with someone at the time, so I was kind of out of that loop, which was nice. It kept me at an anonymous stage. But then I had my single moments down there. And Pam and Steve, I saw that relationship developing down there. And I saw a lot of relationships, and I saw a lot of hurt and pain and suffering. And they weathered the storm. They're still together making this film after 30 years, and they have a great child, and it's wonderful. It's something to be proud of. To be able to weather the downtown scene and to still be creative is very cool. I didn't really understand quite what I was getting into when I moved downtown and when I started being a part of this whole evolutionary group of artists struggling to find their own place so they could create. Our country doesn't really support the arts. Not when you're new and you're coming out of school and that's what you want to do for a living. You need a place that's cheap to live, and you need to figure out how to eat and how to survive. And so that's what I was coming into, and I loved it because something new was being born. And I would see artists work hours and hours, dedicated on their own all day, and then come in at the bar at night. And so I gave away a lot of beers. And also, I started to see that even though I wasn't making a lot of money and I was a single mom, I made way more money than most of them made. And so Jet would come down and say, I need cigarettes. I'll sell you this piece of art, I swear to God, for $7. And I go, I'll give you 15. Holly goes, oh God, I need my rent. I'll sell you this for 200. I go, I'll give you 6. So it was like a big joke. If you want to have some money, go see if you can sell your art to Sandi. And I just started to accrue this really great collection of art, which led me to have my first hair salon called MoHair, Museum of Hair. And we had art shows and hair, and it was wonderful. I still have a lot of great art, but I lost a lot of it to my marriage when it fell apart. And that's okay. I have the memories, he has the art. And I bought more because I'm a patron of art. George would come out at night. He was kind of just like the scenery. He would clean the bar, he would sweep the bar, he would clean the American Hotel. He had a hat, he didn't say much. He would kind of mumble, remind me of Jimmy Durante a little bit. I never knew what the fuck he was saying, but you loved him. He was Americana. And it was years before I realized he had a wife in the room with him. I don't know how he kept her in there so privately, because you had to share the bathroom. And I never saw her. Joel could be cranky. You never knew. And he just looked so sweet and innocent. And you just didn't know he was just going to cut your head off, sometimes. He was really creative. He started a lot of really great theater and things downtown. And then he started the Bloom General Store. When I left in like 86, it was nice to come back to see that there was some kind of stability, and he was the stability, and Al's Bar was still the stability. And it was nice to have those anchors down here. Alberto was one of the stabilities. He had the place across the street, the clubhouse. Oh my God, the clubhouse was so awesome. It had like a catwalk, and it felt like you were in the Pirates of the Caribbean. Alberto, he's a welder, he can make anything. I ended up crashing and burning. And I got into some trouble, and he came and just picked me up and took me out of my house where I was kind of in danger and made me feel safe. I mean, we took care of each other. Jet Jackson was a roommate of mine for a while. Cigarette's like an appendage for Jet. I mean, she will smoke in the shower. We used to have a basketball team, and she would smoke while she was playing basketball with us. We were the Amhos Slamhos. We were good. She had been living in the American Hotel, which is like, 100 feet? And she was moving into a fucking mansion, it was like over 2,000 square feet at the space I was living in, which was $400, by the way. That's how it used to be. Jet's like, we have to have a dinner party. This is great. And we invited, God, how many people? Like 50? We wanted all the women to be elegant, so we said women had to wear hats, men had to wear ties. So of course everyone came looking like crazy motherfuckers. It was great. And then we had sloppy joes and squirt guns. So we had water fights, and it was just so good to see the whole community sitting at this long table, eating and partying and being elegant and crazy at the same time. Another thing that happened at that particular place with Jet and I is, I guess it was 4th of July, and we were really hungover because we'd been down here partying. So the next morning, I was reading Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I love Hunter Thompson. And I said, Jet, just get up. And I'm reading to her, and she's got her Ray-Bans on. And I get to the part where the character is coming over the bin, and he thinks he's got his shit together, but he gets out for the cop.
May I please have that?
I knew I was fucked.
And Jet picks her Ray-Bans up, and she goes, holy shit. We need to go, don't we? And we got into my 64 Falcon convertible and went to Vegas. And it was hell. We hardly had any money. It was just, when people moved down here, it was dicey, edgy. Part of what I loved about the art community coming from my political background was that the artists that came into downtown didn't look at, oh, we're gonna gentrify this and kick all of the riffraff out. People got along. People looked out for each other, whether you were homeless, you know, like Lloyd, who would come in, bum a cigarette, smoke it, put it on his tongue, and do all these tricks with it. Lloyd was homeless, but we kind of all watched out for him. Mongo was an incredible poet. There was some kind of a theater group, too, with the homeless that we all supported. So there was this kind of merging of both that was great. So when the Pope was coming to town, and the city saw fit to scoop the unsightly human beings out of the way so that the news media and the world wouldn't have to see what was really going on down here. And it brought the community together, and it was a dividing line. Because there were some people that were starting to come in going, oh, I don't want to have to step over a homeless person, or it's too scary down here. And we're like, then don't fucking move down here, you know? Go back to Brentwood or wherever the hell it is you came from. Having said that, and I don't know exactly what's going on down here, but I bet you the rents aren't like what they used to be, but what is? I support the arts. I hope that it's really flourishing down here now. We created an environment where artists could live and create and be before the mainstream felt safe to come in. And then when that happens, all the prices go up. When we were here, the political world was really different than it is today. When I was battling the forces and the powers that be, I was an idealist. I felt like we could change things. Art has always been the medium, when people have the courage to use it, that changes minds and hearts, whether it's film or books or the medium of art. And I have great hope. There will be some great young group of people that come forward that can speak for their generation, our children's generation, our grandchildren's generation. Because America is pretty fucked up right now. We need as much art as we can get that tells the truth.
Cut.